What's going on, everybody? Sean Daniel here. What are you doing? What's going on? You learned a G chord.
Yeah, I'm trying because my fingers won't stay.
That's pretty good.
And
Well,
then, hey,
this is Andreas,
hey, I'm Andres.
and today we're going to tell you 5 tips on dealing with performance anxiety. Count them 5. Now, what's the number 1 tip most people give that's not really a tip?
Don't be nervous.
Relax, have fun,
Relax,
don't be nervous.
don't be nervous.
Thanks a lot.
How can you not be nervous when you have never sang in public and you have an audience right in front of you?
No, not a tip. Not a tip.
It's not a tip. So we're going to help you overcome that.
It's like when you get a fortune cookie, right? This is kind of my sort of fall on. When you get a fortune cookie and you open it up and you get something that's like not a fortune, like don't seek revenge. That's not a fortune.
It's a philosophy.
That's philosophy. I did get a fortune one time, actually. I opened a cookie and it said, "You will be invited to a karaoke party."
And you were invited to a karaoke?
No, the day before I was invited to a karaoke party.
No way, really?
And that was like 10 years ago.
Maybe you went to the Chinese restaurant a little
day late.
too late.
I've never been invited to a karaoke party since then. But that's besides the point. We're going to talk about performance anxiety. Everybody gets it. My man Andreas performs, he's like 7 shows a week. You're just always out there.
More or less.
Yeah, and I've been known to kind of get up there and rock out a little bit. So we know a thing or two about it. Number 1 rule. Nobody cares.
Nobody pays your bills.
That's right. Once I realized this, performing live became much more important. Like when you first get up there and stuff, you're so nervous because you don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to look like a fool.
Yeah.
You're wondering what everybody's thinking about you, etc., etc. Nobody cares.
Nobody gives a...
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You think they care, but... Maybe you'll have someone who, maybe your mom is in the crowd, or whatever. But maybe you'll have someone that really cares. But in general...
Yeah, the people you bring with might care, for sure. But like the strangers, and that's not a bad thing.
And
like,
they care in a different way. They care for you, but they don't really care that you're going to do your craft perfectly. Nobody cares,
Yeah. The only people that will ever judge you in a live performance are other musicians who have their own anxieties.
Exactly.
That's the only people that will ever judge you. For the most part.
Yeah, just remember, nobody pays your bills. You don't owe anything to anyone. When you're performing, and this was a tip I got myself when I started performing, I was singing with a very strong accent, obviously. I didn't have a big repertoire in English songs, so all my repertoire was in Spanish, and I was singing here in the United States at a restaurant, and I said, "I'm sorry for my accent," I said. And then this lady came to me and said, "You don't have to apologize. I don't pay your rent. Don't apologize to anyone. Be yourself, do your thing." And I never forgot that. And so now when I perform, I do my thing. If I want to make a joke, I do it, and I don't know anything to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Even at like open mic and stuff, you've probably been there. You've probably been at open mic where someone's just awful. And guess what? Most people clap.
Yeah.
People are generally supportive. Now, every now and then you'll have a joker out there, but whatever. That's not even worth their time to talk about those guys. So rule number 1, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Right, remember that. We'll get back to this. Rule number 2, tempo. Right?
What happens when you're nervous? You're playing your song. And then you start speeding up.
Always.
I imagine it's because you want to just get over with that because you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a couple of
you're nervous.
You might have like an adrenaline rush. You might be hyped, and then you just start playing a song way faster than you normally would. Yeah. And then especially I found like if you have like a 15-minute slot you need to fill, and you practice at home, and you have 15 minutes worth of material, you finish everything in 7 minutes
or less.
It's like, oh my God, what have I done? Right?
Yeah. So, no need to speed it up. No need. Take your time. Most importantly, enjoy your performance. Just remember, you're playing mainly for your enjoyment. That's the one reason you started playing the guitar in the first place. So you enjoy yourself. Now you're showing the people so they can enjoy your craft. So enjoy it yourself while you perform. Enjoy it.
So just
love it. Enjoy
be aware of your tempo when you start. Again, that's
don't rush it. Don't rush
easier said than done, because if you're nervous, you just might do it naturally. Yeah. But just be aware that you're in a situation where you might be playing faster than you normally would. So just think about your tempo and just get it off. Start it out on the right beat, even if you just take a deep breath, whatever it takes to get in the right tempo and the groove.
And listen to your own guitar playing. Listen to your own voice if you're gonna sing. That's the best way to actually enjoy your performance. If you're listening to yourself, instead of thinking, "Oh, the crowd, oh, the people," stop thinking about them. Focus on your craft, on your talent, and you will end up enjoying it and playing at the right tempo.
Tip number 3, microphone placement. Think about where it is. Right, that's another huge thing. You see people kind of like, they're looking down at their guitar,
Yeah.
and trying to sing. They might be too far away. They might be way too close. They might be like eating the microphone.
Yeah.
The thing to remember is that your microphone is not going to follow you around.
Exactly. It's not
everywhere
like you're Taylor Swift or Britney Spears where you have a
like a lav mic or
exactly.
something.
Yeah. I
Unless
mean,
you do.
unless you unless it's your first performance in public and you decided to wear one of those.
You got to show off dance moves and stuff sometimes.
But yeah, most of the time you will have a regular mic that is there. So remember it's there. Remember that you have to be by the microphone, not too close unless you want to sound like.
Sure,
That's a cool effect.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, as a seasoned performer, there are different ways you can approach a microphone to get a different sound and effect and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. But for the most part, since people don't know you, you're trying to show your craft. So you want to sound clear. You want to sound loud enough. So get close to the microphone. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, there you go. Tip number 4. Sound check. And what we mean by this is it encompasses a couple different things. Tuning your guitar is number 1.
Very important.
Right? Like, and some people think that, I just tuned my guitar before I got here, and then they put their guitar in the car in a case. They drive through the winter.
Yeah. No, especially you take it out of your case. Weather, the temperature is different. Maybe they have AC, or maybe here in Florida it's humid and hot. So maybe you take it out of your case, and the humidity and the heat will change your tuning. So make sure right before you start playing,
tune it up.
It's tuned. It's very important because nothing more annoying than this. Listen to this.
Oh my God.
You want to hear this for 7 minutes?
Yeah, that's a good way to be embarrassed, is if you show up with a out of tune guitar and stuff like that. Now another thing encompassed in the same tip,
I hope that
is just getting your levels right. Like sometimes. The guitar will be, if you have a direct input in guitar, and there's a couple things on a mixer. Sometimes the guitar will be way too loud for your voice. Sometimes it's the opposite.
What I found is that a lot of performers, including myself, when we start out, we mostly we know strum guitar. Like we start a lot of us start picking later. They picking the guitar. But most of the time we start with these basic rhythms. So we test the guitar. And then we feel like, oh, this is the right volume. But guess what? When you start strumming, it's way too loud.
Yeah.
And then you start singing, and your voice, you can't hear anything you're saying or singing, if you're going to be singing, of course. So make sure your volume is correctly. And don't be afraid. This is important, I think. Don't be afraid to, even in the middle of the song, if you have to turn it down, even if you have to stop the song, do it. It's worth it. You want to play the whole song badly, loud, and you already realize that, and you're uncomfortable because you know the guitar is louder, but you're afraid to stop because you're shy. No, don't be shy.
Yeah.
It's okay. Make
Rule
a joke.
Number 1,
make
nobody
a joke.
cares.
And make a joke. I always make a joke. When I mess up, sometimes I'm playing. I mean, it's not super professional, but since I include a lot of jokes to my show,
it's kind of your thing.
Then people like it, So if I forgot. Even sometimes I don't even forget the words, but I just make it as a joke, and I say I forgot the words. People like that. People want to laugh.
It humanizes you. It makes you seem more.
Don't worry so much.
Now, in a professional setting, you'll have a sound check that kind of has a greater level of detail to it. But even at an open mic, I still think of a sound check just being maybe you came with a friend of yours who can signal you in the crowd, that's too loud, whatever. Just kind of having a confidant there to maybe help you out. A lot of times there's a guy that kind of sets people up beforehand.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Just make sure your levels are comfortable with what you're doing. Right? Which brings us to tip number 5.
Tip number 5.
Tip number 5. I think the most important
Cinco.
one. That's That's Spanish, right? Yeah.
Cinque.
Practice. Oh my gosh. I can tell you from personal experience, my level of anxiety before a show is directly related to how prepared I am to play the material I'm going to play, whether it's rehearsing with other people and us all being on the same page, or if it's just me thinking I'm going to have to try to remember all the lyrics to the song, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you love playing the guitar already, so might as well practice what you're going to be performing later in public.
You've got to be confident enough to do something on your own with nobody around before you can do it with people around.
Yeah, just practice a lot. And also performing in public will improve by doing it a lot too. Like,
Sure.
Like
doing an open mic.
Do
is
the open
practice, You know? The flip side of that is if you feel like you're never ready. That's just as big a problem. It's like you feel like, oh, I don't think I can do it. I haven't practiced enough. At a certain level, you just have to go out and do it. You know, think of playing at an open mic or at a show or just in front of other people as practice for something else, which is just as important as, you know, doing it in your bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Just kind of being prepared. So anyways, you have
five tips. Those are
five
great
tips. Take those tips down.
We're saving you years of performing in public awkwardly.
We learned these tips through tears, sweat.
Well, I don't cry
embarrassment.
unless I'm drunk.
Yeah, it's
Just kidding.
that's a different tip
that's
video
just
for
a
how to
joke.
deal with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, in the meantime, head over to my man Andres' channel. Show some love. He's got some cool music there, some lessons and stuff like that too.
Yeah, come over to my channel.
There we go. I'll see you over
Look,
there.
if we can get half the subscribers Sean has into my channel,
goal.
we're gonna be giving away 5 pesos.
Pesos?
5 pesos.
What's a
in a
what's that?
5-year range.
Oh, like okay,
Within 5
cool.
years, you
All right.
will receive 5 pesos.
I don't have to. This is your thing, right? Like I'm not involved.
No, I'll just like
I think okay.
I'll send it.
Excellent. So yeah, go over there. I'll see you over there.